It's just past 5 p.m. across India. Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Global. We'll get you top stories from India and the region. I am Tanvi Taneja, and for news from the rest of the world, I'm joined by my colleague in London, Ollie Barrett. Hello, Ollie.
Afternoon, Tanvi. It is just gone 11:30 a.m. here in London, 12:30 p.m. across Central Europe. Coming up in the next half an hour, Prince Harry back in the US while his lawyers are back in court in the UK. Joe Biden hits back on claims about his memory, and Ukraine's top general is swapped out. First, the headlines.
Young Parliament, independents backed by Imran Khan's PTI party leading. Nawaz Sharif of PMLN wins the Lahore constituency. US Supreme Court appears skeptical about the Colorado Supreme Court banning Trump from this year's presidential ballot, says it sets a bad precedent. And India's External Affairs Minister meets his Australian counterpart Penny Wong in Perth as the two-day Indian Ocean Conference begins today. First news from Pakistan. Jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan's party-backed independent candidates have sprung a surprise as the counting of votes for the general elections in the country is underway. So far, the Election Commission of Pakistan has announced results for over 100 seats, out of which Imran Khan has won in 47 of 106 parliamentary seats. These are the independents backed by Imran Khan's party. The Pakistan People's Party, PPP, of Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has got 24 seats, while former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz PMLN party has won 18 seats. The counting of votes is underway. So as Pakistan awaits the results of a widely watched general election, Director of Afghanistan and Pakistan Studies at the Middle East Institute, Marvin Birnbaum, shares his views on what the results could mean for the South Asian nation and its people.
Whatever it's going to be, no party is going to have a majority. So we are looking at what everybody has anticipated, and that is a coalition government, which would probably be unstable, weak.
Now, DD India's Jessica Taneja is tracking the results for us. Jessica, what do we make of these numbers? With poll rigging allegations in place, there's been a complete reversal of trends since last night.
That's absolutely correct, Tanvi. The complete reversal of trends, but that is what you expect from elections in Pakistan. This was the 12th general election, and it was supposed to not go according to plans as the world would expect it to be a democratic and free and fair election. Well, at least from the numbers that we've seen so far, as you pointed out, the independents affiliated and otherwise with the PTI are in the lead so far, but we don't know how this will turn around because still 126 seats remain to be counted, and mostly in the Punjab province, which holds key to 56% of the assembly seats that would go in the General Assembly of Pakistan. So we're still waiting for those results to come out. But so far, when it comes to Punjab, which is going to be one of the key makers as to who really gets to the throne in Pakistan, that somehow the calculation is still pending. But overall, the picture right now from Pakistan election results is chaotic, is incomprehensible at this point, and for many who call it Banana Republic seem to feel that this has gone way beyond that stage.
And whatever be the result, Jessica, do you think the military establishment there will stay away from the electoral verdict of the country, or is it too early to ask?
Well, interesting you ask that, because the military establishment has always been pulling the strings behind the scenes, and this is not the first time. It's not even an open secret. It's for everyone to see on a very factual basis as to how the military controls the political landscape of the country. If you would recall, Tanvi, the allegations of poll rigging were mounting before the people went out to vote yesterday. You've seen the kind of violence that spread around the streets. We reported the country has reported many violent incidents in the recent past. Just yesterday, before the elections, polling was supposed to be done in the northwest province. You saw two twin blasts go, one in quick succession. So, of course, things are not very clear as to how this election result would pan out. But so far as to when it comes to military's interference, it's quite rampant and visible. And in this election, it's not going to be any different. Ultimately, it will be the military dispensation which will decide who gets to rule or who comes to power in this country. Let's not forget the fact that the military establishment not only has a role to play in the country's,
political landscape, yeah.
Political landscape, but also economic policies. We've seen allegations in the past where military generals have been accused of influencing economic policies as well, and the rest we know is pretty much evident.
Yes, thank you, Jessica. Jessica Taneja reporting to us from Delhi. On to Europe now. Prince Harry's phone hacking lawsuit against a British newspaper publisher returns to the London High Court today. My colleague Ollie Barrett is in London. He gives us more on this and other stories making headlines around the world. Ollie, given that Prince Harry won the first stage of this case, what is expected today?
Well, Tanvi, his lawyers are back in court, as you say, while he's in the United States. This is a fresh hearing on his phone hacking lawsuit against the Mirror Group newspapers. You will remember that Prince Harry has returned to the US, as I say, after visiting his father, King Charles, earlier this week, following the monarch's cancer diagnosis. When it comes to the case, Harry and around 100 other claimants, including actors and sports players, have been taking legal action over allegations of phone hacking and unlawful information gathering between 1991 and 2011. This hearing is expected to focus on whether Harry and Mirror Group have settled remaining claims, and it may contain a decision on costs for the trial that has already taken place. Meanwhile, Britain's King Charles is doing extremely well. That's according to his wife, Queen Camilla, who's been seen in her first public engagement since the 75-year-old was diagnosed with cancer. Speaking to one well-wisher at a charity concert in southern England, Camilla said that Charles has been touched by the outpouring of messages and support from the public. To the United States, where the race for the 2024 presidential election is heating up as the Democratic and Republican primaries and caucuses are well underway to select the two main contenders for the Oval Office. As the latest update suggests, former President Trump did glide to victory in Nevada's Republican caucuses, an outcome that was all but guaranteed because he was the only major candidate on the ballot.
Donald Trump won the Nevada Republican caucuses after staunch loyalists in the state helped confirm the election would be a success for him. With this, Trump moves closer to becoming the Republican Party's White House standard-bearer in a likely general election rematch with U.S. President Joe Biden in November. After his win in Nevada and the U.S. Virgin Islands, Trump appeared before supporters in Las Vegas.
I just want to really thank the great people of Nevada, because this was a turnout. I don't know if you know, you broke the all-time record. The all-time caucus record was broken.
According to a polling firm report, Trump is the only frontrunner in his party's nominating race. He's the only major candidate competing in Nevada's caucuses and is set to win the state's 26 delegates to the party's nominating convention in July, after being projected the winner on Thursday night.
If Donald Trump doesn't make it, she's out on her own.
If it's not Trump, it's no one. Yes, if he's who I want, he's who America wants, and I want what America wants.
The former US president won 182 votes, or 74% of the 246 votes cast there, beating his last remaining rival in the Republican race, Nikki Haley, who won 26% support with 64 votes. The Nevada caucuses, organized by the Trump-friendly Nevada Republican Party, came 2 days after a state-run primary election which saw a defeat for Haley. Despite the results in Nevada having little impact on the Republican nominating contest, the state will be a hotly contested battleground because its population can swing to either party and play a significant role in November's presidential election. Rahul Upadhyay's report, DD India.
A 15-month investigation into US President Joe Biden for improperly handling classified documents has ended, with special counsel Robert Hur's probe concluding that the president cooperated and a jury would be unlikely to find him guilty and therefore recommending no further action. Special counsel Hur's report did not charge President Joe Biden with a crime, but it talked about a forgetful commander-in-chief who failed to properly protect highly sensitive classified information. After that decision, Joe Biden pushed back in a press conference at the idea that his memory is not good.
My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I've become president. Because I'm the most qualified person in this country to be president of the United States and finish the job I started. I did not share classified information. I did not share it. With your ghostwriter? With my ghostwriter, I did not. Guarantee you did not. What I would have done is overseen the transfer of the material that was in my office.
A $95.3 billion bill that includes aid for Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan has made progress in the US Senate. The new bill strips out several US border measures from a $118 billion bipartisan package that Senate Republicans voted down on Wednesday. If the Senate goes on to approve the aid, it must still be passed by the House of Representatives, which has so far not been keen to approve such funding. The US has carried out new airstrikes on Houthi targets in Yemen. The US military says the Central Command Forces destroyed 4 explosive-loaded drone boats and 7 mobile anti-ship cruise missile launchers that could have targeted vessels in the Red Sea. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has pledged to act immediately on any new information from Israel related to the infiltration of Hamas in the world body's organizations. This comes after 9 UN staff in the Gaza Strip were fired last month. This is with regards to the UN RWA organization. Israel accused 12 staff with the Palestinian Refugee Agency of taking part in the October the 7th attack by Hamas. Of the remaining 3 staff, 1 is dead. The United Nations is clarifying the identity of the other 2.
One thing that you can be absolutely sure, any allegation that is presented to us by the government of Israel in relation to any other infiltration of Hamas in the UN, at whatever level, we will act immediately upon it. We received allegations in relation to 12 names, and those allegations were credible. The investigation team was immediately on the ground, and if I have made any mistake, it can be corrected in the future. But we couldn't run the risk not to act immediately, as the accusations were related to criminal activities that are really dangerous.
US President Joe Biden is set to host German Chancellor Olaf Scholz at the White House later. The leaders are expected to discuss new aid for Ukraine and the conflict in West Asia. The meeting comes after House Republicans blocked new US funding for Ukraine, arguing the US can't provide billions of dollars in aid and that Europe should do more for Kiev. In Ukraine, Russian forces have repelled multiple attacks launched by Ukrainian troops in the directions of Donetsk, Krasny Liman and Kupiansk. They also launched strikes against Ukraine's artillery systems and armoured vehicles and shot down a Ukrainian Su-25 aircraft. That comes as Russia says it doesn't believe the appointment of a new Ukrainian commander-in-chief will alter the outcome of the conflict. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced the change of the armed forces commander. Zelensky named the former army chief a hero of Ukraine, despite speculation the general was removed due to months of a rift with Zelensky. Russia and Ukraine have exchanged 100 prisoners of war each after mediation by the United Arab Emirates. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says they will not stop until they bring everyone back.
We have to release everyone from captivity. Every day we work for this. And I'm grateful to everyone in the world for helping us, in particular the United Arab Emirates for supporting such exchanges. Glory to Ukraine.
Slava Ukraini.
That's it from me here in London, Tanvi. Back to you. Have a good weekend.
Same to you, Ollie. Thank you very much for joining us. Ollie Barrett joining us all from London. You're watching DD India Global, still to come on the show. India to confer its highest civilian honour, Bharat Ratna, posthumously on late former Prime Ministers Charan Singh and PV Narasimha Rao, and on late renowned agricultural scientist MS Swaminathan. Hundreds protest after Malaysia's top court declares 16 Islamic laws unconstitutional in a landmark case. This could affect similar Sharia laws in other parts of the country.
Bharat that is more innovative, more flexible, faster, seems to be more agile and also more creative, and is also in the process becoming accepted as a Vishwaguru and Vishwamitra.
I mean, when it is a hard power issue, we have taken that road. When it is a soft power issue, we have also shown that capability. When it comes to idealism, in many ways, shown, I would say, a generosity and a fellow feeling. But when it comes to real politics, we have been very hard as well.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Global. I am Tanvi Taneja. India has decided to confer its highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna, to three eminent personalities posthumously. Former Prime Ministers Charan Singh and PV Narasimha Rao and agriculture scientist MS Swaminathan have significantly contributed to India's socio-economic development. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi praised the late Chaudhry Charan Singh for dedicating his entire life to the rights of farmers and their welfare. On former Prime Minister PV Narasimha Rao, Prime Minister Modi said, as a distinguished scholar and statesman, Narasimha Rao's visionary leadership was instrumental in making India economically advanced, laying a solid foundation for the country's growth. Dr. MS Swaminathan is being conferred with the award for his monumental contributions for Indian agriculture and farmers' welfare during challenging times. India's Vice President and Chairman of the Upper House, that's the Rajya Sabha, Jagdeep Dhankar, appreciated the government's decision to confer Bharat Ratna to former Prime Minister PV Narasimha Rao.
Former Prime Minister Shri PV Narasimha Rao Garu has been honored with Bharat Ratna. Shri Narasimha Rao has been known, and the Prime Minister has rightly noticed it, a distinguished scholar and statesman. His approach was sagacious and full of sublimity.
From New Delhi to Perth now, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is on a visit to Australia to attend the 7th Indian Ocean Conference in Perth. Minister Jaishankar joined Sri Lanka's President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Australia's Foreign Minister Penny Wong and Singapore's Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan at the inaugural session of the conference. The theme of the two-day conference is towards a stable and sustainable Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean Conference is a flagship forum for countries in the Indian Ocean, organized annually by India's Ministry of External Affairs in association with the India Foundation. Ahead of the conference, Minister Jaishankar also met with his Australian counterpart Penny Wong in Perth on Friday. Both the leaders had good exchange on comprehensive strategic partnership and convergence on matters related to the Indian Ocean. They also discussed the Indo-Pacific, situation in West Asia and other regional and global topics. In a notable development in the education sector, the collaboration between India and Sri Lanka is yielding positive results. Two bright minds from the Department of Engineering at the University of Jaffna, Sri Lanka, have secured coveted spots in a 6-month research internship program. The internship program was organized at the esteemed Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Madras. The milestone, made possible by the Memorandum of Understanding inked between the institutions, showcases India's dedication to fostering academic ties and student exchanges between the two countries. And now we take a look at other stories making news around the world. Amidst the public protests and concerns from the European Commission, Slovakia has introduced reforms in their criminal law. The new reform will remove special prosecution branch and lower punishments for financial crimes. The opposition and thousands of Slovaks have denounced the new reform as they say these changes will shield Fico's political and business allies from investigations. As farmers protest over rising costs, increasing fuel prices, bureaucracy and EU's common agriculture policy grapple Europe, Spanish farmers also took to the streets to demonstrate their disagreement. The farmers drove slow-moving tractors on roads, disrupting traffic, while Polish farmers have also joined the protest, blocking roads countrywide and at border crossings with Ukraine. As Malaysia's apex court declared 16 Islamic laws enacted by the northeastern state of Kelantan unconstitutional, protests broke out in the country. As per the court, the subject of the laws are not within the state's jurisdiction. At least 13 tourists were injured and 1 killed in a bus accident in North Thailand on Thursday. The accident took place as the bus fell off the cliff. According to the local police, investigations are underway. The Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited BPCL unveiled India's first domestically produced alkaline electrolyzer at the India Energy Week 2024 in Goa. It has developed the electrolyzer in collaboration with Bhabha Atomic Research Centre. This will help in achieving high cell efficiency and durability in alkaline environment. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya explains us more.
There's a lot of buzz in India Energy Week when it comes to green hydrogen, and what better way than to come to BPCL's pavilion where they have made a Make in India electrolyzer. And I have with me Mr. Rennie, who is the Chief Manager of R&D. Sir, BPCL is doing huge work when it comes to green hydrogen and hydrogen related work. And this is one of its kind electrolyzer, with BPCL. Prime Minister Modi also came here. Tell us more about this, new facet of this particular innovation.
Yeah. So in this hydrogen pavilion, BPCL is showcasing the green hydrogen initiatives of BPCL. So along with joining hands with Bhabha Atomic Research Centre, we have developed an alkaline electrolyzer technology, which was already in use at BERC. We scaled it up with the help of BERC. We scaled it up from 25 kilowatt scale to the current scale which you are seeing. Okay, so it undergone various stages of scale up. We tested this electrolyzer for its performance parameters, that whether it meeting the current density, its performance in terms of the energy consumption. So all these performance studies were carried out in a BPCL R&D center, and now we have scaled up this electrolyzer to a scale where we can commercially deploy wherever the use cases are there.
So that was the chief manager of R&D of BPCL who have demonstrated this amazing electrolyzer facility. This is what is a classic example of making India, made in India is. With camera person Ajit, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from the India Energy Week in Goa.
And as we end this show, we take you to the Opera Ball in Vienna. The traditional Vienna Opera Ball in Austria held its 66th edition on Thursday. The glamorous gala featured opera and ballet performances. The ball kicked off with the entrance of the Young Ladies and Young Gentlemen's Committee, which was then followed by everyone joining the dance floor, showcasing the event's motto, "Everyone Waltz." So with those graceful waltz moves, we wind up this edition of DD India Global. Do join us for another edition of the show at 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram at DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja from my entire team in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.